She's just 21 and the best in the world already? Here is some exciting news for all the tennis fans out there. 21-year-old Iga Swiatek is now our global tennis superstar after the champion's 35th consecutive win in the sport. Swiatek's journey has been an exciting one for her fans, and tennis enthusiasts around the world, and at her age, there's nowhere to go but up. First up, turning tables at the French Open. With Iga Swiatek, the Polish are leading tennis this year from the beginning of this season. But what really marked the Polish champion's superstar title was her second win in the French Open 2022. She won her first Open when she was only a young teenager. Swiatek competed against world-famous players from the US, China, and other countries, and she beat them all. This was quite different from the last French Open, where the future champion was defeated 6-4, 6-4 in the quarterfinals by Greek player Maria Sakkari. That match proved too overwhelming for Swiatek, and she had to take an off-court medical timeout in the second set. But this year she was back with a bang. The defending champion turned heads with joy as she won match after match with her heavy topspin forehand. Winning the women's final against US player Coco Gauff was quite an emotional moment for the superstar. The 21-year-old champion got a little teary as the Polish national anthem played after she beat the young opponent 6-1, 6-3. It was without a doubt a proud moment to her and her country. Next, breaking records. You can't be a superstar without breaking any records. It wasn't just the French Open. Swiatek left her mark in every match from multiple championships this year, from Qatar through Miami, Stuttgart, and Italy to France. Swiatek won every game she played and set herself above everyone else. Swiatek's opponent in the French Open final, Gauff, also remarked how tough it was to play against someone who hasn't lost in a while, and we couldn't agree more. With her 35th consecutive win, Swiatek has achieved the longest win streak for a Women's Tennis Association tour in more than 20 years. Just mind-blowing. She is at par with Venus Williams' 35-match streak from 2000. This place was held by Serena Williams before her, and breaking her record in an achievement that should never be taken lightly. We can't say a lot for her future wins, but Swiatek will go down in history for her record-breaking global achievement. So did she think she could do it? Even the best of the best have their moments. In an interview after the latest win, Swiatek remarked how she had to come a long way before believing in her talent. It could be because she is a perfectionist who always strives for the best and thinks she could do better. But it was mainly the lack of role models from her country that made it so hard for her to believe that she could ever be top of the world. As she said in the interview, the probability of me becoming a tennis superstar was pretty small. If you ask us, that is what makes her success even more praiseworthy, beating all odds and pushing through with hard work. Swiatek didn't just make a name for herself, but for her country. She can also be the role model she never had for other girls like her who dare to dream big, and we think that's the biggest win of all. And now, Father knows best. The journey towards being the best player wasn't easy. It was only with hard work and determination that she was able to get where she is, and she couldn't have done it without her father. The young champion credits most of her journey to her father. She once remarked that if it hadn't been for her father's persistence, she might not have been playing tennis at all. In her own words, her father decided for her. He made some really good choices as well as some terrible ones, but in the end, he was her one-person team. Her father's decisions helped a lot to get Swiatek to where she stands now, and we're all thankful to him. Next, she's keeping her options open. Every pro needs to have a plan B in case things go south, and for someone who already doubted their success, a backup plan seems almost necessary. Despite deciding to go pro well before, Swiatek was determined to finish high school. She remained focused on it as an active part of her life. Things like these get stressful, and at times it felt like she was working two jobs at a time, one in the classroom and one on the tennis court. Most people would let go of their backup plans once they enter the professional tennis life, but this was not the case for today's world champion. Even in 2020, despite having played and being recognized globally, she still felt the need for a plan B, just in case tennis wasn't it for her. But lucky for her and for all tennis enthusiasts, tennis feels like it's only for her, and she has proved that time and time again this season. So what's next? We're all stoked to know what the tennis superstar plans on doing next, and understandably so. Well, newsflash, nothing related to tennis, that's for sure. While Swiatek is on the entry list for the Berlin WTA 500 tournament, we don't know if we'll see her play or not. After being on tour since April, we agree with her when she says a break would be best. It's time for some rest without a tennis racket in her hands or a crowd cheering for more. But before that, she's excited as we are about her favorite player, Rafael Nadal, in the French Open final. We're happy for her and wish her all the best with this well-deserved break. At the same time, we can't wait to see her in action again. Hope that comes sooner than we think. Now it's time for some other news. Starting with once a tennis fan, always a tennis fan. She may be the best player in the game right now, but she's always been a tennis fan, and nothing can change that. Iga Swiatek is super excited to see Serena Williams return to tennis at Wimbledon after a break of 12 months. If you love tennis but don't love Serena Williams, do you really love tennis? Swiatek showed her support for the star on Instagram, where Williams announced her return. Under Williams' big announcement post, Swiatek expressed her pleasure and excitement to see the former tennis star play, and we don't blame her because we're just as excited. It seems like Swiatek won't be playing at Wimbledon, but she is still eager to be there. The world's favorite player will be there to support one of her favorite players. Next, Swiatek stands with Ukraine. Swiatek didn't just win her title in the French Open, she also won many hearts with her heartfelt speech after she won the final by expressing her support for Ukraine. She reminded the crowd and fellow players that the war was still there and the Ukrainian people continued to suffer. She has hope for the country and support them to stay strong. The Polish player had been vocal about her support since the war started and wore a Ukraine ribbon throughout this tournament. She recalled how many players had taken their ribbons off, but the war hadn't stopped. Ukraine still needs support, and Swiatek made use of her platform as a winner to remind everyone of that. Her speech won her a well-deserved standing ovation. We hope the war in Ukraine ends soon and everything is peaceful again. But first, mental health. Mental health services have become more accessible than ever in today's world, with more people opening up about their experiences with getting help. Tennis superstar Swiatek places much importance on her mental health and is one of the first tennis players who travel with a full-time performance psychologist. Her psychologist, Daria Abramovic, has been traveling with her on tour since 2019, and it's only then that Swiatek fully realized the importance of on-site sports psychology. The Polish player feels it's easier to trust someone who's been around her all the time and seen her on court than to open up to someone you visit once in a few weeks. She's right, this sort of closeness makes it much better. We're delighted that sports players are focusing on their mental well-being as much as their physical well-being these days. For Swiatek, it is one of the ways she avoids burnout, and we are so happy it's going well for her. Finally, we have connecting with nature. Nature always has a way, and for world superstar Swiatek, it has been helpful too. We know that the star player focuses a lot on her mental health. One of the ways she does that is by connecting with nature. It helps her clear her mind and find peace before a big tournament. The player visited the Bois de Boulogne 5 times to find nature. This short activity helped her find calm during a time of much chaos in her life. Nothing like some fresh air in Paris's largest public park to clear your mind. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Swiatek will continue her winning streak? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one!